Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. This week I'll be doing my video on posture. Essentially I'm going to be talking about how you should be sitting, how you should be standing, and of course how you should be sleeping as well. Now if you remember the video last week, what we actually talked about was that the spine actually has three curves from the side view. So there's one in the neck, one in the mid-back, and then of course one in the lower back as well. So essentially, that's all you really need to know if you're standing, if you're sitting, and of course if you're sleeping. So let's take standing for instance. When we're standing, we want to make sure that we're standing equal on both sides and we're not leaning over to one side or the other side, okay? So this essentially gets us in a good posture position. Our hips are nice and even, our shoulders are nice and even as well, and then of course our eyes are to the horizon. What I'm seeing a lot these days from the side view is a lot of people coming in with this sort of forward slouched posture, and as a result what I want you guys to be aware of is making sure that you're nice and tall. Just think there's a piece of string from the top of your head, and you just want to slowly bring yourself up and elongate yourself. Now, as you can see, I've got three curves, so that's really important. When we're sitting though, it's kind of very similar. We're doing the same thing. From the side view, we want to make sure that when we sit down in a chair, that we slide our bum all the way back to the back of the chair. Now this is going to be really important, because what tends to happen, particularly on the couch at home, is we put our butt just on the edge there, and then what we do is we collapse down, and then we're looking at the TV this way. So my first tip really is to make sure that you slide your bum all the way back to the back of the chair, okay? The second thing is, if you're using a computer at work, what I want to make sure that you're doing is that the keyboard and the mouse is really close to you. Now obviously as the day goes on, sometimes the keyboard will actually start to move forward, and when that happens we start to get poor posture. We start to go forward like this. So if you can bring your chair forward or bring the keyboard to you and your mouse to you, as you can see straight away I've got good posture. And as the day goes on, the working day particularly, you should have little post-it notes next to your monitor that basically say that you should have a break every sort of 15 to 20 minutes. Get up, move around, have a cup of tea, rehydrate, go and have some water, because that's going to be really important for your spine as well. So the two ways that I recommend that you should sleep is on your back and on your side, definitely not on your tummy. And the main reason why we don't sleep on our tummy is generally what happens every night is we will turn our head to one way, and that's because we have to breathe. We don't breathe directly into the pillow. So what tends to happen is we turn our head to one way, and what happens is the neck posture, the neck muscles on either side compensate and get used to that position. So on one side, if we're turning our head to the left, you can imagine the muscles on one side are going to get tighter, and the ones on the other side are actually going to get a lot longer as well. The other thing about laying on your tummy as well is that because we've got a pillow, what ends up happening is we get extension through the neck as well. So a lot of people that do actually sleep in this position, they tend to wake up with a lot of tingling and numbness into their hands and fingers, and that's because there's pressure going through the neck, and it's affecting those nerves that actually go down to the hands and fingers as well. So the correct way that you should be sleeping is on your back, okay, and making sure that the pillow that you've got at home is of good height. What happens if you're laying on your back? If the pillow is too big, what happens is it props the head forward, and straight away that creates a lot of tension in the neck as well. Obviously if there's no pillow there, then you're not getting any support as well. Now if we turn so that you're actually on your side when you're sleeping, it's really important to make sure that the spine is straight from top to bottom. Okay, so you can see how this is very straight, and then what happens is if I lay the skeleton down on its side, you can actually see that it's straight. Now what tends to happen, or what I find with my clients, is that if the pillow is too big, it actually props the head up on one side. And obviously if there's not enough pillow or there's no pillow, what tends to happen is the spine tends to go down as well. And this obviously creates a lot of stress and strain in the neck, in the muscles as well. Another tip I would suggest is if you're laying on your side, that you keep your knees close together or together. And what that's going to do is going to protect the back and keep it in a neutral position. What tends to happen though, if the knees come apart, particularly say if we keep the bottom leg straight and the top leg bent, is our pelvis tends to roll over. And as the night goes on, we tend to roll over onto our tummy. So what I would suggest is you can grab an old pillow and you're going to put your knee on the pillow, and that's going to help support the pelvis. The other tip, of course, is if you roll over to the other side, you just bring the pillow with you, and that's going to help support the pelvis as well. Thanks for watching. See you next week.